Hello students, and welcome to our grades 5 to 7 writing class for abundant education. Today we have an action-packed lesson. We will kick things off with a vocabulary quiz to test what you've learned, then we'll review some tricky irregular verbs, and finally, we are going to learn the secret to writing a truly excellent summary by playing the highlighting game. Make sure you have your worksheets and a highlighter ready, and let's get started. First up is our vocabulary quiz. This will test your knowledge of the words we've been studying recently. Part 1. Matching. You need to match words like illiterate, capitulate, respite, hovel, and menial to their correct definitions. Part 2. Fill in the blank. Choose the best word from the word bank to complete each sentence. Your choices are adequate, administer, disrupt, strenuous, and urgent. Part 3. Multiple choice. This section tests your understanding of synonyms, antonyms, and word meanings. Read each question carefully. Part 4. Bonus connection. For 2 bonus points, define the word dilapidated, which was used in the definition of hovel. Please pause the video now, complete all 4 parts of the vocabulary quiz, double-check your work, and follow the teacher's instruction, whether to turn in for grading or peer review answers. Unpause when you are finished. Welcome back. Let's move on to grammar and look at Lesson 20, Irregular Verbs 1. In English, most verbs are regular, meaning we just add -ded to make them past tense. For example, walk becomes walked. However, irregular verbs don't follow that rule. They change their spelling entirely. Let's look at the chart on your worksheet. It groups these tricky verbs by how they change. Pattern 1. Sometimes, one vowel changes to form both the past and past participle. For example, begin becomes began, past, and begun, past participle. Another example is swim, which becomes swam and swum. Pattern 2. For other irregular verbs, the past form and the past participle are exactly the same. For example, bring becomes brought in the past, and it is also brought for the past participle. Catch becomes caught and caught. Feel becomes felt and felt. Take a moment to read through the rest of the examples in that second group. Now look at exercise 1. Your task is to write the correct past tense or past participle of the verb in parentheses in the blank. For example, the sentence says, several recent presidents have underscore a lasting impression. The verb is make. The past participle of make is made, so we write made in the blank. Please pause the video and complete the 24 questions in exercise 1. Be sure to use the chart at the top of the page if you get stuck. Unpause when you are ready. This is the continuation from last lesson. Here are 4 short stories, all in the 7 to 8 minute reading range, perfect for practicing the SWBST narrative arc technique. You should be able to find all of these stories online easily. Today, we will be looking at the Sniper and use this story to summarize. You had this page last week. It introduces the SWBST framework for summarizing. Part 1 explains how it works, using the example of Finding Nemo. Part 2 is a practice section for you to apply the SWBST framework to a book of your choice. Now in your notebook, use the chart to help you draft a summary for the Sniper story. Show your work to the teacher after you finish, before you move on. Great job with those verbs. Now for the fun part, summarizing. When we love a book, we want to talk about all the cool details, the awesome weapons, the funny dialogue, the crazy plot twists. But a summary is not a retell. To write a great summary, you have to be ruthless and cut out the extra details. We need to understand the difference between a plot point and a detail. Plot point: this is an event that must happen or the rest of the story falls apart. For example, Cinderella's crystal shoes. If she doesn't have the shoes, the prince can't find her. Detail: something that makes the story interesting but isn't required to understand the ending. For example, the color of Cinderella's carriage, or the exact words her stepmom said to the prince. Listen to this terrible summary of a morning routine. All right, everyone. I'm going to summarize my morning for you. First, my alarm went off at exactly 6:02 a.m. It was the radar ringtone. I rolled over, put my left foot in my blue slipper, then my right foot in the other blue slipper. I squeezed exactly a pea-sized amount of mint toothpaste onto it. Wow, that is way too much information. A good summary would just be, I woke up, brushed my teeth, got dressed, and made coffee. Let's practice cutting out the fluff. It's time for the highlighting game. Look at part 1 on your worksheet. You will see a terrible bloated summary of Little Red Riding Hood. It has way too much information. Your task is to use a highlighter to mark only the essential plot points. Do not highlight descriptions of clothes, exact times, or minor items. Ask yourself, if I delete this word, does the story still make sense? Let's look at the first sentence. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who wore a bright red cape made of heavy velvet. What is the essential information? Just little girl. We don't need to know about the heavy velvet cape to understand the story. Pause the video, grab your highlighter, and mark only the essential plot points for the rest of the Little Red Riding Hood story. Then, move down to part 2 and use only your highlighted words to rewrite the story in a maximum of 3 sentences. Unpause when you are done. Let's try it one more time. Look at the next page, which has a bloated summary of Cinderella. Again, use your highlighter to mark only the essential plot points. For example, in the sentence, her 2 mean stepsisters, who loved wearing obnoxious ruffled dresses in shades of chartreuse and magenta, made her do all the chores. You only need to highlight that she was forced to do all the chores. We don't care about their ruffled dresses. Pause the video, highlight the plot points for Cinderella, and then complete the 3-sentence challenge in part 2 below it. Welcome back. By now, you should be an expert at spotting the difference between a necessary plot point and an unnecessary detail. For your final assignment, look at part 3, apply it to your book. Think about the book you are currently reading for class. Write down the title, and then identify a minor detail you want to include, but don't actually need for a summary, like a character's eye color or a minor fight scene. Finally, write a trimmed-down 3-sentence summary of your book, making sure to leave that minor detail out. Pause the video and complete part 3. You did a fantastic job today. You tackled a tough vocabulary quiz, mastered irregular verbs, and learned how to write a concise, effective summary. Don't forget to check your grammar and vocabulary answers against the teacher key provided. Keep up the great work, and I will see you in the next lesson.